Bernice Nash, your host of Good Gossip, brought to you by the Incognito Virtual Cast Network. Today, I have Chris Calvin with us, and he is an inspirational coach, just looking to share a little tidbit of what he does every day. Chris, introduce yourself to the folks.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? First, I want to thank you, Bernice, for affording me the opportunity to come on this platform and share my story. So my biggest hope is to, as always, be an inspiration to someone who may have doubts. And it may not be in the realm of what I'm going to share today, but hopefully someone can walk away with this story that I want to share today with a little bit of inspiration to just push forward and see things through.
Awesome. Now, just so y'all know, Chris is a trader. He is a coach. So he trades at Equities. And he also coaches young men. He also coaches traders. So he's just pretty awesome here. Chris, tell us about your morning soul care routine. I got to know what gets you up in the morning and fuels your day.
Well, it took me a while to really fine tune my everyday go-to morning routine. Typically I'm on the West Coast, so starts a little bit early for me, but typically I find myself waking up about 4:45 in the morning, because that does give me a little kickstart to, number one, I do a lot of positive affirmation and intentional goal setting for not only that day, but for that week. So I want to make sure that I'm sticking to that plan that I set over the weekend. I do want to make sure I do get a morning workout because it just allows me to clear my head for what's honestly the highlight of my day, which is the opening bell and the trading session. So about 6:30, now that I've gotten in the workout, I've gotten in some positive affirmation and breakfast, I'm ready to rock and roll, and it's 6:30. By that point, I'm literally lasered and locked in for about 1 hour for about the morning opening bell and the trading session. Honestly, I'm not trading every day, but I'm looking for opportunities. If I see an opportunity that presents itself, that's when I'll go ahead and position into something. If not, then I'll go by that first hour and just stay aware of what's going on in the market. And as you mentioned, I do coaching now. So I actually coach active investors on how to better manage their portfolios and how to manage their trading plan. So typically that'll last for about the next 3 hours from 8 to about noon for me.
Wow, Chris, you have a busy morning. You sitting here.
I do.
You reminded me, I love Kobe. Kobe is one of the greats to me, and just because of his mindset. And he would always say, before my competitors woke up, I had already worked out twice. And what you basically said is, I'm already up before 6:30. I've gotten my day pretty much planned, and I'm fueled and ready to go and kick it out, right?
Right. I mean, to your point, like Kobe is also my favorite athlete, and the second pillar of Mamba mentality is obsessiveness.
Yes.
And so when he talks about, waking up early in the morning, getting his first workout in, well, by the time his competitors wake up at 9 a.m., he's already getting his second workout in. So for me, that's where I found success. I had to find ways to accelerate the learning curve for me when I wanted to be an active investor. And so the only way for me to do that, to accelerate my learning curve, was go 10 times harder than what the average person may be doing in terms of trying to learn the curriculum in which the course that I took to learn how to actively invest. So yeah, I definitely resonate with Kobe in the obsessiveness.
Hey, when you're all about something and you're trying to make something work, you have to be obsessed with it. So I love that mentality. Now, Chris, what caused you to invest in yourself and to learn how to trade?
Well, honestly, it's been an interesting journey, to say the least. So what started my journey, honestly, I need to thank COVID. I had actually picked up a secondary job working for Amazon. And I like to consider myself a fairly accomplished individual. But I found myself working for Amazon, delivering packages. I have 2 degrees, 1 master's degree. And I just had a deep thought, like, what am I doing? How did I find myself here delivering packages for Amazon? And I found myself listening to a podcast, And my mentor, who is now my mentor, she came on a podcast and started to share her story on how she became an active investor in the market. And I just had a deep thought to myself saying, if she can do it, I can as well. Like, who am I to pigeonhole myself and put a boundary on the capabilities that I can do as a person? And honestly, that's what kickstarted my willingness to actually invest in myself. That's what it was. So the next day, I actually joined my mentor's course. I told my supervisor that I much rather invest in Amazon than work for Amazon. And 2 days later, I quit and I started my journey learning how to actively invest in the market. And here I am today, retired from my job 1 year later, and 160% ahead of my goal to my first self-made $1 million in the market. So things are going well. Things are going really well.
Wow, Chris, that's dynamic. And y'all, he didn't mention the name, but I'm going to mention it. His mentor is Terry Ijeoma. She is a multi-millionaire. If you want a mentor, you better get with the best, right?
Yes, that's right. I didn't need to reinvent the wheel. I literally invested in her course. The reason why she resonated with me is because a lot of times when you hear folks talk about investing or stocks, they always brag about how much they're making, right? But Terry's first conversation was her sharing how much she actually lost, her biggest loss in the market. And for someone to be that transparent with someone that they don't even know and share how much they lost and how they learned from that really resonated with me, because that's the biggest thing. Like, the best traders are able to mitigate their losses.
Right.
So once I heard that, I, of course, began to do further research, but ultimately that's what sold me on purchasing Terry's course. And she did a phenomenal job in terms of scaffolding the learning curve. Truly amazing course. Yeah.
Y'all, I can agree with that. I actually, obviously, I met Chris Calvin through that course, and Terry Ijeoma as well. And just like Chris, I heard about her through a podcast, and it's been dynamic ever since. And Chris is so right when you talk about the fact that, there's losses in trading. There, you have to know your risk tolerance. There's so many things that you have to have the mindset. You talk about that Mamba mentality. All those things are so important to maintain focus. Now, tell us, how do you remain consistent?
Oh man, it took a lot of fine tuning. I'll tell you that. But it's really more so of understanding who you are as a trader. And what a lot of folks don't talk about is trading is more about the mindset. So it's really about, I like to say, it's 10% buying, 10% selling, and about 80% of simply waiting, right? Waiting for the best opportunities. I've only positioned into 3 trades in the past 2 months. And so I have been able to master the skill set of patience. And it's taken a lot for me to get to that point. A lot of losses, but of those losses, they were small losses. And my wins, I've been able to have my wins be 3 times my loss. And that is all attributed to having a trading plan and a trading system. And the sooner that you're able to stay consistent in that trading plan, the more that you're able to see those gains start to compound more and more and more. So it's really about understanding, number one, who you are as a trader, and 2, having a solid foundation in terms of a trading plan and a strategy, and sticking to that trading plan and strategy.
Y'all, I'm telling you, the reason that Chris Calvin has been trusted by Terry Ijeoma and her process is because he's following a process. And I love the fact that he's drilling in. It's all about consistency. It's all about patience. And it is. And being a trader, you really get to learn what your issues are, what your mentality is. And unfortunately, most of us have habitual things that will come out in your trading. For me, it was greed. I was like, man, as soon as I see the money rolling, I'm like, where's the rest? Now, and Chris, you laugh because it's probably so many, you may have been there, or so many other people have been there. What was the biggest mountain that you've had to overcome in your trade?
Overtrading was my biggest one. Especially coming off the climate of the market, which was last year, where everything was going up. So it just seemed like if you just put $5 in the market, it was going to turn into $100. And I've learned through this past year is that there are seasons, and you have to be able to adapt to what the market is dictating to you. You cannot dictate to the market what you want it to do. And that's why I say it's important to have a particular trading plan and be able to have market awareness. So my biggest flaw early on was over trading. I wasn't able to identify that until I started to journal my trades, and so that theme of over trading was consistent. And now I'm able to identify that and say, you know what, you need to eliminate the things that you're positioning into, because you'd actually be a great trader if you stop positioning into 4 and 5 different, stocks at a given time. And so the sooner I was able to identify that, I started to realize a lot of consistency in my trading, and I just stick with that.
That's awesome advice, y'all. I can tell you at one point in my trading journey, you could look at my portfolio and probably see about 7 positions, which was ridiculous. Don't do that. Oh man. So what would you tell somebody that is struggling with making a decision to come and learn to trade?
Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. The biggest thing I would say also is that, to your point of trading will bring out characteristics in not only in your trading, but in your day-to-day life. So if you're living an undisciplined life, that'll show up in your trading. So honestly, trading's actually been able to bring out the best in me, as far as being self-disciplined, as far as having patience. I deal with kids on a day-to-day basis, whether it's in the classroom or out on the field. So if I'm impatient with them, imagine how that can carry over to how I am in the market, right? So I think that temperament of me being in the classroom and being out on the coaching field actually has helped me understand and be patient with the market as well.
Wow, Chris, that's some major advice. I mean, that's some sensei type stuff. I love it. Oh my goodness. How has your trading provided you with freedom? We kind of already know, because you mentioned you ditched the jobs.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about what that looks like.
Yeah, so for me, I actually hit a big milestone. July 30th, I walked away from my job as an educator in the classroom. And really that's afforded me an opportunity to, what I feel is, live out my purpose. So I've had a lot of success in investing in the market. And it's the teacher and coach in me that has allowed and afforded me the opportunity to partner with my mentor and help others, come out on top and be successful in their own trading plan. So it's afforded me the opportunity to partner with Terry and teach one-on-one coaching consultation calls with folks all around the globe. I've taught someone in Australia, Zimbabwe, Jamaica, obviously within the United States. So to be able to connect with folks all over the world and to see her reach, and for Terry to trust me to teach her curriculum to my peers, and for my peers to trust what I have done, has been amazing. So that's afforded me to walk away from my job, which was a giant leap of faith, because like I mentioned, that was 11 years of the same routine of a 9 to 5. So for me to walk away, that was a huge step. It was scary. But 2 days later, I was able to profit on a $9,000 trade. So that's just God saying, don't worry, I got you while, the transition phase is taking place. Here's this $9,000 for you. So whenever you feel as though uncertain about certain things, I would say lean heavily on prayer and walk out on faith. And if you do those things, I think God will direct your path.
Yes, he definitely will. Tell me about 3 of the top things that have kind of blessed you since you started your trading journey. I know you've shared quite a bit. I'm sure that there's more. Tell us about that.
Right. So two other aspects that I'm really proud of right now is, number one, I've actually helped my mom obtain her first $1,000 in a day.
Yay!
she has no clue how to trade in the market. So I'll call her and text her like, hey, click this button, click that, do this, do that. So that was a thrill ride for sure. But that was a really proud moment because I can show her, some things that I do on my day-to-day basis. And for my mom to experience that and for her to see the power of making the dollar work was really cool. The second thing that I'm really proud of is as I was still in the classroom as a teacher, and I'm still a football coach right now. He's my mentee at this point in time, but he saw the power in investing through some of the gains that I would post on my social media. So he begged his mom to purchase the course for him. He wasn't of age at the time to actively trade legally. So what he would do is he went through the course, learned the curriculum, learned how to have technical analysis, and he actually positioned his dad into a trade. And he made his dad $5,000.
Woo!
Yes. So can you imagine just because for me, trading is all about having a lifetime skill set, right? So I can walk away and not trade for months, but come back here 2 months later and still have this skill set and knowledge to be able to do. So, well, just imagine that this young man at 17 years old has this skill set for life.
Wow.
And now,
go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just the power. And now this young man has literally changed the trajectory of generational wealth in his family.
Yes. And I'm just thinking about that young brain. Just imagine if you knew this at that age.
Yes. And so we're out here closing this generational wealth gap, y'all.
Yes, do it. I love that. I was listening to Terry when I went to her event out there in Nashville at the Opry Mills. She basically did a story, y'all, just so you know, about her life and how things have transformed for her to now she's a multimillionaire. But within that, she was able to just talk about her vision of seeing those maps where folks are underprivileged, for those to turn green because they've learned how to invest. It's a powerful tool and it can really do that. I mean, you heard Chris, if a 17-year-old can help his parents make $5,000, just imagine what you can do with more resources and more time.
Right. 100%.
So I know you read quite a bit, Chris. Tell us some book titles that have changed the game for you.
Oh man. Well, I'm really big on positive affirmation and just making a choice and deciding what you're going to do with your life. So for me, I would say number one, a must read is The Alchemist, absolute top 5 favorite. Another book that I really enjoy is The Magic of Thinking Big. The author is David Schwartz, and it really just opens up just the mindset that you need to have in terms of not only just thinking big in terms of goal setting, but how you wake up in the morning. Like, what's your first thought? Is it, oh, I don't want to go to work? Or, yes, I'm really looking forward to today. Like, just that subtle switch in your mind can really trigger the mindset the rest of the day for you or the week. So it's really a powerful book in terms of shifting the overall mindset of how you think. And then it goes into goal setting.
I love that, Chris. You know, I've actually started reading The Alchemist because so many folks talk about it. What I'll tell you, there's a couple of books that you've suggested, and I believe wasn't it you that suggested that book about millionaires? I can't remember specifically, but anyhow, I think it might have been Millionaire Mindset. Was that you that suggested that book, Chris?
Not that one, but there's another one that I really like, and it talks about the power of 1%. And how a lot of multimillionaires think in that narrative of 1%. So a cool thing would be, think about how many times, and it may not even be goals, but think about how many times you've made a New Year resolution. And 2 weeks later, that New Year's resolution is thrown out the window. Right? Yes. But instead of focusing on the New Year resolution, focus on whatever that goal that is, focus on being or achieving 1% towards that goal each day, and focusing on the process that it takes to get there and not the actual goal. Because if your habits don't align with that goal, then you're never going to achieve that goal. So think about the habits that it's going to take to actually achieve that goal. And those habits are something that you can actually obtain 1% each day.
Yes. Don't take the sandwich all in one bite.
Right,
Take it
right.
bite by bite, I
Exactly,
guess. Right.
exactly. Don't eat the whole piece of slice it up.
Yes, yes. So many people forget that, and that's the reason, like you said, most people fall short of those goals because you make one misstep and you're like, oh, I'm completely off track and this is not happening. But Chris, your story is proof that it takes time to learn something. It takes discipline, and then eventually your body will kind of transform into what you're commanding it to do because you're in control. We forget that we're in control of what we do.
Yes, it all truly just starts with mindset. It's like, I know who I am, I know what I believe, and now I'm gonna start there. At that point, that's a great starting point. I know who I am, I know what I believe. Now it's just everything else is going to set itself accordingly to my actions and my habits.
That's exactly right. Now, I know you know this, so share as much or as little as you like, but where do you see yourself in 5 years, goals, man?
Wow. So I talked about the magic of thinking big, right? I definitely see myself as a multimillionaire with a house portfolio. I really want to inspire folks. Like, I feel as though that's going to be my life calling. I want that to be my life calling. To show folks that, hey, this kid from Inglewood, California, who had little to no education in terms of the stock market, has literally changed lives through inspiration. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is impactful. And Chris, I didn't know you were from Inglewood.
Yeah,
okay.
I was up to no good.
Oh my goodness. Now we discussed earlier that you help Terry with the coaching. So you're coaching with Chris. Tell everyone how they can connect with you and the various different platforms that you might be available on.
Right. So I'm most easily accessible on Instagram. And my Instagram name, I know IG shut down today, but I think it's back up. But it's going to be at Chris_Calvin. At Chris_Calvin, or you can reach me on my trading platform, which will be on Instagram as well, at Trade with Coach.
Trading with Coach, y'all. Chris Calvin is the truth. I'll tell you, I personally invested in a private session with Chris Calvin just to learn what a guru does, because you know what? You're always looking for consistency, not just a one-off win, because anybody can just randomly make some money or do well. You want to be consistent because, like Chris mentioned, it's that incremental difference, that compounding. And if y'all ever look at any of the big stock investors, they'll talk about how much compounding meant to them. So it's so important. And Chris, I'm so appreciative of you being sort of like a trading sensei for us and being able to offer that wisdom today. Thank you so much for your time this evening. And I'm wishing you the best. I can't wait to see that 5-year plan play out. I'm a big believer.
Oh, I am too. And I know you can't put I used to always walk around. I used to say used to, but this was only about a few months ago when I would say, I'm going to retire in 2 years. I'm going to retire in 2 years. But you know what? I was speaking that into existence. And I've essentially done that in less than 2 years. So never put a cap on the possibilities that you can do with your goals. Like, literally think big. And if you feel as though you're achieving your goals too easily, you're not thinking big enough. So challenge yourself.
Yes, that is 100% truth. Chris, I love your spirit, your vibe, your intentionality. Can't wait to see how your mom's account grows, because you already making her a baller.
I know. She texts me every day now, like, what's next? What's next? I'm like, relax.
Hey, I love it. She taught you everything you know from the primary years, and now you're able to develop her. I love that. So it's a beautiful vision. We appreciate you, Chris. I appreciate you taking time out to come hang out with the gossipers. Oh my goodness. Have a great evening, Chris. Thanks so much.
All right. I'll talk to you, Bernice. Thank you for letting me on the platform.
You're welcome. All right, y'all. Chris Calvin came to visit us and he dropped some wisdom. I hope you had your pen and pad out. I am going to just reiterate a few key points just to remind y'all, because we always do a little something to talk about the financial wisdom. And again, it's financial wisdom because I'm expecting you to research it on your own. Anyhow, know your risk tolerance with anything that you do. I don't care if it's trading, I don't care if it's purchasing a home. What are you willing to risk without going bankrupt or without being able to feed yourself? Always know that. It's key. Find a mentor. A mentor is somebody that is doing something that you want to do, not somebody that's doing the same stuff you're doing. You need to make sure you're aspiring, and aspire big. You heard Chris, his mentor is a multimillionaire, y'all. He wants to be a millionaire, so he knows who he needs to follow. And also, if you do decide to trade, look into simulated trading. Most platforms will offer you an opportunity to simulate your trading, which basically means you're taking trades with live parameters. So like you were in the market, but you're not using your own money. You're using the house's money. So you can learn how to trade without hurting your pockets. So please try some of those things. But anyhow, y'all, like I said, it's so important to do your research, and I am challenging you. Do your research, get with the right folks, and take that next step. Learn how to trade and change your financial trajectory. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me at Good Gossip today. I'm hoping y'all have a great week. Talk to you soon.